Second biography from your syllabus is Chandrasekhar Venkataraman. It is written by, that very student of his Bhagavantam. Yes, Bhagavantam. So it begins with the early years. That first title he has given to this content, and in that we have discussed education of C.V. Raman. Then the second one is marriage of C.V. Raman. Then come to that his first job. His first job he did in finance department of Indian government. Actually, why he chose this career? Because in that period, particularly that research and scientific research, that was not considered as source of income, or no job was there for such type of work. So in this period he decided to enter in competitive examinations, and he was selected in civil services, and he got his first job in February 1907, and he joined Indian Finance Department as an assistant accountant general at Calcutta in June 1907. He did this job for 10 years. He spent in Calcutta, and for some period he was transferred to Rangoon and then to Nagpur. So this is about his that job in finance department. Later on, he was lucky to find out one thing during these 10 years. He found opportunities to not only keep up his interest in science, but he could continue his experiment and investigations. So, how he could do that? In Calcutta, he found one scientific institution, which was private one, and the name of the scientific institution was Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. He joined this association, and this association was founded by Mahendra Lal Sarkar in 1876, and Raman uh, actually took an opportunity to uh, get the facilities there, and he continued his research in that particular institution. During this 10 years period only, he could uh, publish his 30 original research papers in different branches of physics, to Nature and to the Philosophical Magazine, and to a Physical Review. So this is about his research as well as career in that finance department. Here one story about his that means when he was there working as accountant general in finance department, he came across one man who carried one bundle of 100 rupee notes, and that was nearly burnt by the blazing fire. And that man came to him and told him all about. And at that time, Raman, instead of refusing to take that bundle, he accepted, and he inspected all the things. He instructed treasurer to give him the fresh note. With the help of magnifying glass, Raman found all the numbers on the half burnt notes which were visible, and thus he treated that man very genuinely. So this is his means one story in his career, and due to this, he we can say he was the man of honesty and sincerity. So later on, one turning point came into his life. Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, he met this fellow who was judge of the Calcutta High Court, and then vice chancellor of Calcutta University. So Raman met this fellow in that Calcutta, and these two became well known to each other, and then what happened, this Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee established University Science College in Calcutta, and he honored Raman with the professorship in this institute. So actually, this type of job, a job of professor, uh, in that particular period was not having good salary, and due to this, this was actually means that very difficult for CV Raman now, means how to enter in this scientific field where the job was just without any type of monetary or money help. He couldn't get payment out of that, but finally he decided to leave the job of finance department, that government job, and he entered into the job of this professorship. So this is how the sacrifice we can see, and the admiration is written in red lines. You can read that. See here what this means, that words are used by that very Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee for Raman. What he said, see, I shall fail in my duty if I were to restrain myself in my expression of the genuine admiration. Means I should admire Raman because, see, I feel for the courage and spirit of self sacrifice, because Raman or CV Raman has left his job, and with the courage, and see, he took this job of professorship. Mr. Raman has decided to exchange a lucrative official appointment for a university professorship. Means he left the job having good payment, which was there in government sector, and he accepted this university professorship job. So he said that he did that sacrifice. Then in remaining part, let us see what he writes, which I regret to say does not carry even liberal payments. This one example encourages me to entertain the hope that there will be no lack of seekers after truth in the temple of knowledge which it is our ambition to erect. So C.V. Raman, he was such a great fellow who left the job of government and he entered into the job of a university professor without any payment, and due to this he established that one example before of further researchers, and such a fellow entered into the temple of knowledge, and that could give so many things to that coming researchers in future. So this is how that sacrifice of great people is required everywhere. So after this first job, he entered into that research area. In that research is done in ample quantity by Professor C.V. Raman. And this era, 1917 to 1932, he called it as the golden era in his life. And he left the government service and joined University of Calcutta as a professor of physics in July 1917. So in 1999, 1919, following the death of Amritlal Sarkar, Raman was elected as Honorary Secretary of Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. Okay, so that was near his house, and in one go that old building at Bo Bazar Street in Calcutta. It was very nearby to his house, and he could get the opportunity to avail all that resources because he was the secretary of that association. So it proved to be of great value and help to him for the development of his scientific activities. Then Professor Raman used frequently to refer this period as the golden era in his career because he could get that full-fledged opportunity to do research, and so many young men gathered round him both at University College of Science and at Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. So research students used all that facility, and he sought and obtained monetary help from many sources during this period. He attracted devoted scientists for all over India who proved to be a succession of gifted collaborations. So this enabled Raman to push forward steadily with his investigations. So he called this era with golden era. The Raman effect, which was discovered in early 1928, stood on different footing that naturally became the area of principal interest in the last 4 years of the era, and literally the place was filled with spectrographs, mercury lamps, and several young men working day and night on some aspect or the other of newly discovered phenomena. So, such is the great contribution of our C.V. Raman, and this is his second phase of life after having government job. He entered into this research area. Then we'll discuss his traveling abroad in next lecture. Let us stop here.